Hi, the judge is on their way for the third judge here. Hi, all three judges should be here now, so I think you're good to start.
All right.
You can
Perfect.
just verify that all three judges are here, please.
All right, I'm here.
Perfect, thank you.
All right. So I guess we'll start off with doing a roll call to make sure all of the competitors are here. So, is Jessica Luo here?
Yes.
Bella Kalra,
Yep, I'm here.
Arya Ajit,
Yes, I'm here.
Helen Liao,
I'm here.
Emma Kay,
Here.
and Roger Shen.
Here.
All right, that's perfect. So, I guess if any of the other judges have anything to say before we start. I guess not. So, the list has Jessica Luo going first. So, whenever you're ready, we can begin.
Okay. Can you see me and hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Also, can I have time signals, grace period, please?
Just a fist at when?
Yes, please.
At 7 minutes? Sorry, how long is prose?
It can be 7, but it's 10 minutes.
Oh, it's 10. Okay. So, you just want a fist at 10?
Okay.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it can be anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes.
Patience is wonderful. It really is, but we all have an endless amount, sadly, especially when it comes to the one terror of the world, annoying people. They're everywhere, in the store, in the movie theater, or even on the road. As the main character in this selection suffers from this terror, she decides to start a new chapter in her life, being nice. I Love Everybody by Lori Notaro. I'm not exactly a people person. Not exactly. You see, when I was born, God gave me an ounce of patience that was supposed to last me my lifetime, but it only lasted me a week. I'm not indiscriminately mean. I must be provoked first. For example, if I happen to be looking out my window and I see you allow your dog to poop in my yard, I will run outside with a pen and a piece of paper and query, hey, can I have your address? Because my dog will probably have to crap in the next hour or two, and I'm taking her to your yard to do it. So I guess I am mean. I can admit that much. But then, in a millisecond of reflection, I hatched a brilliant plan. I would immediately embark on life as a nice people person. Really, I said to myself, how hard would it be to just be nice? All you had to do was smile and nod, right? So I practiced smiling and nodding, and what a piece of cake to be thinking I could have been doing this all along. And today was going to be an especially good day to test out my new niceness, because I was headed to Costco to get my niece a birthday cake. 2 miles from Costco, all is going well until a Chevy 2-ton crosses 2 empty lanes of traffic and screeches right to a halt in front of me. As I pass, I smile and nod. How delightful, to which he sticks his big, filthy tongue around in his mouth and raises his eyebrows vigorously. I smile, teeth clenched. Nice. It was noon, and in Costco that translates to a free Oars Divorce lunch. There were only 2 girls ahead of me, in their very early 20s. Suddenly, a sharp, high-pitched noise erupted right in front of me, using my ear as a portal to step to my brain. Ring, ring! Oh my God, who's there? I don't know. Ring, ring. Answer the stupid phone, I said sadly, as I tried in vain to turn my head, finally forced to cup my hands over my ears. Finally, that girl dug through her fishing net of a purse, grabbed the source, unfolded it, and held it to her ear. Hello? Hello? I hung up. Oh, maybe they'll call back. Cherry, blueberry, raspberry, or strawberry? I don't know. What are you gonna get? I don't know. What are you gonna get? Just get blueberry. That's the best. You 2 very delightful girls in very pretty dresses, I said, as I felt the uncontrollable desire to hold my head and rock back and forth. This is a score, not a dress. I need to hurry. I got to the bakery counter, and as the baker was in process of getting my cake, another customer, a lady with big hair, frosted in chunks, wearing a sleeveless Oxford shirt and big tanned arms like tree trunks, waved her arms around and yelled, Ma'am, I only have a question. This will only take a second. I'll be right with you. That carrot cake you have right there, you have any without walnuts? I'm peanut sensitive. I can't eat walnuts. I didn't know what they have in them. They came from other vendors. I took a deep breath. Yeah, but I could die. Peanuts can kill me. Try a chocolate cake then? Nah, I'm on a diet. That big armed peanut hater walked away before I could punch her. I grabbed my cake and walked, where I found myself back at the freezer section, where sample ladies were frying and toasting free food. Well, I said to myself, why not? And I went to the sample lady whose crab was the smallest. Although I couldn't help but notice a big frosted head sticking out like a sore thumb. I smiled, the biggest grin I had all day. Suddenly, someone from behind me grabbed a few cookies and bumped me. Without pardon me or excuse me, retreated, as if on cue. I turned around, and there she was, popping at those cookie bits. I waited for her to swallow, and when she did, I said, "Don't you just love these cookies?" To which she nodded vigorously. I repeated, "I just love walnuts, peanut butter, cookies, don't you?" And then I turned to the sample lady and said, "Then that is the delightful hairnet you're wearing." Thank you. May I ask what time it was?
I had 5 minutes 59 seconds.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Are the other two judges ready to go? All right. Then next up, we've got Bella.
Okay. Can you see and hear me okay?
Yep.
Are my judges ready? My little daughter, she's different. She's going to grow up and ask me, "Mommy, why aren't I like the others?" When she was born, she wasn't a baby. She was just a little sack sewn up everywhere. Her only opening, the eyes. The medical card says, "Girl born with multiple complex pathologies. Aplasia of the genitals, aplasia of the left kidney," but that's just fancy medical talk for no female parts and only one kidney. On the second day, I watched her get operated on, the second day of her life. She opened her eyes and smiled, and I thought she was going to start crying. Thank God she smiled. The ones like her don't live. They die right away, but she didn't die because I loved her. April 26, 1986 was a horrific day that devastated the lives of many people living in the Ukraine. The number 4 reactor of a Chernobyl nuclear power plant exploded. Many people died that very day, but some had to suffer through the aftermath. In Voices of Chernobyl by Svetlana Alexievich, we follow the story of a woman who gave birth to a consequence. Tell everyone about my daughter. Write it down. She's 4 years old and she can sing and dance and she knows poetry by heart. Her mental development is completely normal. She isn't any different from the other kids. Only her games are different. She doesn't play store or school. She plays hospital. Gives her doll shots, takes their temperature. When a doll dies, she covers it with a white sheet. We've been living in the hospital with her for 4 years now. We can't just leave her there. When we go home for a month or two, she asks me, "When are we going back to the hospital, Mommy?" That's where her friends are. That's where she's growing up. Meanwhile, I now give pregnant women the strangest looks. I don't look at them, I just kind of glance real quick. I have all these mixed feelings, surprise, or jealousy, joy, even a feeling of vengeance. Doctors advise me to seek medical help abroad, but where am I going to get tens of thousands of dollars when my husband barely makes $120 a month? One professor told me quietly, with her pathologies, your child is of great interest to science. You should write to hospitals in other countries. They should be interested. So I write not because I want to, because it's my only choice. How much longer can this go on? No one knows the effects of radiation on the organism of a child. Take my girl, even if it's to experiment on. I don't want her to die. I'm okay with her becoming a lab frog, a lab rabbit, just as long as she lives. I've written dozens of letters. She doesn't understand yet, but one day she's going to ask why she isn't like everyone else. Why can't she love a man? Why can't she have babies? Why can't what happens to butterflies ever happen to her? To everyone but her. I fought for 4 years with the doctors and the bureaucrats. I knocked on the doors of important people. It took me 4 years to finally get a connection between ionized radiation and her terrible condition. They refused me for 4 years, kept telling me, your child is a victim of a congenital handicap. In 20 or 30 years, we have a database about Chernobyl. We'll begin connecting the dots to ionized radiation. But for now, science just doesn't know enough. But I can't wait 20 or 30 years because science doesn't know enough. I wanted to sue them, sue the governments. They laughed at me, called me crazy. One bureaucrat even yelled at me. He said I just wanted Chernobyl privileges, victim funds. But there is one thing they don't understand, don't want to understand. I needed to know that it wasn't my fault. This girl is growing up. She's still a girl. I'll put a dress on her and a handkerchief, and people will say, your daughter is so pretty. I ask myself again and again, why did Chernobyl break down? Some people say it was a scientist's fault. They grabbed God by the beard, and now he's laughing. But we're the ones paying for it. Thank you for listening. In 1986, scientists didn't know enough about Chernobyl, but fast forward to 2022, and we now know that this girl was just one of the 400,000 kids that suffered from this terrible incident. I hope this piece reminds you to be grateful for what you have, because you never know when it all might explode. Thank you.
What was the title and author of that? I missed it in the intro.
Oh, it's from Voices of Chernobyl by Svetlana Alexievich.
Okay.
Is it possible to know my time?
I forgot to hit start on my timer. Did any of the other 2 judges get a time?
I got 6:23.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect.
Thank you.
All right. Are the other judges ready? All right, then next up we've got Aria.
Yes.
Just a thumbs up when you're ready. Humans are the most unique creatures on this planet. Humans can do so many things. Humans can feel. We can be happy, mad, sad. We can quit. But how about crayons? Can they be happy, mad, a little blue? Can they quit? The Day the Crayons Quit by Drew Daywald. One day in class, Duncan went out to take his crayons, and that's when he found a stack of letters with his name on them. Dear Duncan, it's me, Red Crayon. We need to talk. I am so tired of being overworked. I have to color everything red. The fire engines, the strawberries, everything. I have to work on the holidays as well. Coloring Santa and the hearts on Valentine's Day. I'm tired. I am too overworked and I am tired. I need a rest. Can we talk? Your overworked friend, Red Crayon. Dear Duncan, I'm tired of being called light tan or dark tan because I'm neither. I'm beige, and I'm proud to be so as well. I'm only second place to Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown gets all the ponies and donkeys, and I get Thanksgiving dinners, if I'm lucky, by the way, and also wheat. I get to color in wheat. Have you ever heard of a child decide to color in wheat? Come on, man. Use me a little more. Your beige friend, Beige Crayon. Dear Duncan, you color with me, but why? Most of the time, I'm the same color as the page you're using. If I didn't have a black outline, you wouldn't even notice me. I'm just used to filling snow or empty space, and this leaves me feeling empty. I'm empty. We need to talk. Your empty friend, White Crayon. Dear Duncan, I hate being used to color in the outline. All of such other colors fill in. All these other colors think they're much brighter than me, which they're not. I mean, come on. You use me to outline a beach ball, but other colors to fill it in? How about a black beach ball? Wouldn't that be nice sometime? You know, is that too much to ask? Come on. Black Crayon. Hi, Duncan. It's me, Green Crayon. Okay, I'm writing for 2 reasons. The first reason being, I'm very happy with my workload of crocodiles and trees and leaves and everything green. I actually wish you the best of luck with all your green things career. Okay, so the second reason I'm writing you today is because orange and yellow crayon, they're no longer on speaking terms. Gosh, they both think they're supposed to be the color of the sun, and this is out of hand. It's driving the rest of us like crazy. Anyways, could you please settle this down? Okay, thanks. Bye. Green Crayon. Hey, it's yellow crayon here. Okay, we need to talk. Orange crayon girl. She thinks that he's the color of the sun, which he's not. And I can also prove it because last Tuesday you used me to color in Happy Farm coloring page. And if you forgot, it's on page 7, but you can't forget. I'm literally shining down brilliantly on a farm full of corn. I mean, come on. You know I'm the color of the sun. Otherwise, you wouldn't have used me. Come on. We gotta fix this, you know? Okay. Your pal and true color of the sun, yellow crayon. Dear Duncan, I see yellow crayon has already talked to you. Oh my god. The big whiner. Well, Mr. Tattletale here thinks that he's the color of the sun. Well, guess what? He's not. It's me. And I can prove this because you used me on pages Monkey Island and Meet the Zookeeper last Thursday. I mean, I'm the color of the sun. Why would you use me if I wasn't the color of the sun? Like, aren't you glad to have me? But, Shane, well, it's your true pal and the true color of the sun here. Orange crayon. Dear Duncan, it's me, peach crayon. We gotta talk, man. I'm naked. You peeled off my wrapping paper. I am naked. I have no underwear. I can't leave the box because I'm too embarrassed. How would you like to go to school without underwear? That's right. You wouldn't want to. We gotta fix this. You gotta help me. Help me. Peach crayon. Well, poor Duncan. All he wanted to do was color. And of course, he wanted his crayons to be happy. So he put together quite a masterpiece. And when he showed his teacher gave him a good work sticker, but then a golden star for the creativity. Thank you. And can I know the time, please?
Yes, the time was 7:47.
Thank you so much.
What was the title and author?
The Day the Crayons Quit by Drew Daywalt.
All right. All right, I think if the other judges are ready, next up is Helen. Helen?
Yes. Can you see and hear me all right? When I woke up that day, I was really excited because it was supposed to be a really good day. I had picked out my own clothes, and for someone who was 7, that was a big deal. And later that day, Mrs. Clements would give us each a turn to hold her walkie-talkie. And today was my day. So I was so excited. According to the mental health centers, childhood is a short period of time filled with joy, innocence, and wonder, where children feel sheltered and loved. However, this is an idealized childhood. Studies have found that childhood trauma can cause lifetime impacts, both mentally and physically. On December 14, 2012, the famous Sandy Hook shooting took place, resulting in 28 victims, of which 20 children were killed. I still remember back in elementary when I would participate in these active shooter drills. It was always fun getting to hide in the dark or run across the street with my class. However, recently, students from Oxford High School underwent a shooting that killed 4 and injured 8. No child should have to go through trauma. However, trauma is becoming synonymous with childhood. This story is a lesson to us that thoughts and prayers do not stop bullets, bring back the dead, or heal a broken child. An interview with the Sandy Hook survivor, Ashley. We were all in a circle, saying good morning and stuff. And then it just happened. The gunshots. I remember someone saying cubbies, so we all just ran to the cubbies. I wedged myself inside, and from the door, you couldn't really see us until you walked fully into the classroom. I remember we were all sobbing, but trying so hard to be silent. You could hear the footsteps of the firemen on the roof, and it freaked us out so badly because in our mind, we didn't really know what was going on. All we knew was, oh no, there's someone on the roof out to get us. All of this was over the loudspeaker. The reason the loudspeaker was on was because Mrs. Hawksburn was trying to warn us. But then she got shot. There were 2 doors, one by the classroom and cubbies, and one inside the classroom that led to another classroom. I remember being so afraid of that other door because what if he came in from there? Mrs. Clemens dragged over a desk and tried to read with us a book. Her hands were in the air, but they were shaking a lot. I don't remember how long it was. But when the police finally knocked on the door, we all just screamed. I remember myself saying, no, please don't open the door. Don't open the door, please. When the police did open the door, they told us to get into a single file line, hands on the person in front of us, and even close our eyes. Then they let us out of the building. I immediately started screaming, where's my sister? Where's my sister? I was sobbing onto every police officer, crying on them, asking them, do you know where my sister is? Can you help me find my sister? Is she still alive? Please. I remember meeting up with my friend and we ran off to look for her. When I found her in her classroom full of kindergarteners, I just felt the most relieved I'd ever been in my entire life. I gave her the biggest hug. My mom was at the grocery store, so she didn't get here until the very end. I remember myself wondering, where's my mom? Like, why is my mom not here? It was just a whole lot of anxiety I had never felt as a 7-year-old. I'd hardly even felt sadness. Everything was just different now. Everything was all sad and gloomy, and it kind of made us all realize that the world's not all sunshine and rainbows. Even though it was 8 years ago, it doesn't make it any better, and still very little has changed. The thing about trauma, specifically because we were so young, is that you don't grow away from it. You grow around it. And as you grow up, it grows with you. So when I was in middle school, I had to go through all of that all over again because my mind is maturing and I'm growing up. I had PTSD from the shooting. A lot of anxiety and bad emotions came from thinking how as a 7-year-old I should have done something. I know I couldn't have, but the thought remains that I should have. Or that maybe I didn't deserve any of the pity that was given to me because I didn't lose anybody, or that I wasn't shot. For them to say that this just simply didn't happen, it's a hoax. It's so incredibly invalidating to what my community has gone through and what other communities have gone through. I can't give you proof, except for my trauma, except for the letters people have written to us, except for the fact that I really did go to that school. I can't even begin to express just how angry and emotional this fact alone makes me. Thank you.
I got 656.
All right. Next up, I believe we have Emma.
Yes, I'm ready. Okay. Are all of my judges ready, and can you hear and see me okay? I really like movies, and I think most people do. It's a form of escape. And who doesn't want to escape from their lives once in a while? Rom-coms are my favorite. They're the best. They help me forget. They help me escape the reality of my own world. Personally, I don't like dramas nearly as much as I like rom-coms. I mean, why would I want to spend 2 hours of my life watching someone else's depressing life? If you want to cry, just give me $10 because I can tell you a true story that can make you cry. I might even throw in some popcorn and a bag of chips. A report of child abuse is made every 10 seconds in the United States. Why do some people feel the need to hurt kids? Well, that question is what this teenage girl is asking herself when her own father does something out of hand. Even after she has to undergo such horrible treatment, she only becomes stronger than she started. And the award goes to by Shannon Cartwright. In most movies, there's always at least one bad guy. For me, that bad guy would be my dad. It's kind of hard for me to admit, but my father used to abuse me when I was younger. He'd pinch me. He'd like to see what kind of mark he could make on my skin. Mom would be off playing cards with her girlfriends, and when she'd come home, I'd tell her what happened. She'd look at the red marks on my arms and my legs, and she'd tell Dad to remember that I was just a kid, that he shouldn't be so rough with me. Dad would try and make a joke out of it by saying, "We're only roughhousing, babe. I'm sorry. I'll be more careful from now on." And then when Mom was no longer in the room, he'd call me a tattletale. He'd warn me. He'd warn me that Mom wouldn't always be here to protect me. As the years passed, Dad's playing around transformed into something a little bit more serious. There was one week when my mom had to visit my grandma in the hospital. My grandma lives out of state, so Mom felt it was safe to leave me with Dad. After all, he is my father. It hadn't even been a day before Mom had left when Dad decided that I would be his full-time slave. I was only 5 or 6, but now while Mom was taking care of my grandma in the hospital, I was tending to my dad's every whim. I either had to get him the mail or I had to go and bring him a beer, but nothing I did was ever fast enough. If I didn't get him what he wanted fast enough, he would take the cigarette hanging from his mouth and he'd put it so close to my skin that I could feel the heat start to burn me. And then he'd make me say that I was sorry. I'd always say the words, but not once did I actually mean it. How could I mean it? The only thing that I was sorry for was that I didn't have a dad who loved me like the ones in the movies. The kind of dads that hug their daughters with a bright smile every time they saw them. That's all I asked for. My grandma got better and Mom came home. With nothing in the house seeming to be out of order, Mom thanked me for being Daddy's little helper. I know she loved him, but couldn't she sense anything? Couldn't she see that there was no real affection between Dad and me? No daughter-father love going on? I might not know what I'm talking about, but I'll say one thing. That old saying about a mother's intuition didn't apply in my house. Because in Mom's eyes, Dad was just as perfect as the day she first met him. The real cliffhanger came when my grandma died. Times were really hard. After all, Dad was unemployed again, and there simply wasn't enough money for all of us to attend the funeral. So Mom left, and that meant, you guessed it, fun-filled quality time spent with Dad. I wasn't that dumb. I knew it was best to try and avoid him as much as physically possible. So before Mom left, I asked her, "Hey Mom, can I spend the night at a friend's house?" Of course, she said yes, and so I stayed for 2 nights. As I walked back into the house, Dad was boiling water on the stove. That's not usual, since he normally made oatmeal for breakfast. As soon as he saw me, he started barking orders. He told me to clean up the house before Mom came back. I look at him, and before I could say or do anything, all he does is yell, "Maybe you didn't hear me. I said to start cleaning up this pigsty." I know I shouldn't have said anything. I know I should have just kept my stupid mouth shut. But I couldn't. There was so much hate grown into his voice. I couldn't take it anymore. I didn't want to take it anymore. And so I look at him. And I yell, "Well, at least now you've admitted to what kind of animal lives in this barn." And that was all it took. Because just seconds after, he grabbed me by the arm and forced it into the pot of boiling water. I charged my hand back as fast as I could, trying to take as much sting out of my now throbbing fingers as possible. It didn't take but a second or two. Before my skin started to form blisters, it was like my skin was moving on its own. Knowing I had nothing to lose, I charged towards Dad, hitting him and striking him across the face as hard as I could. Never underestimate the power of a man, but not just any man. A man filled with hatred. Because just seconds after, with one hand, he grabbed me by the hair, and with the other, the pot of boiling water. He pours it down my head and down my back. I was screaming, I was crying. I don't want to be here anymore. Dad, I don't want to be here. I want to be in my room watching a movie, escaping from this horrible, horrible world. Because Dad, what did I ever do to you? What did I ever do that made you be so horrible? And then I look to my right, and I see Mom walk in, and all I can think in this horrible, horrible time is, "Welcome home, Mom. Welcome home." Thank you. Can I know my time?
I got 7 minutes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right. I think if the other 2 judges are ready, then last but not least, we've got Roger.
Yep. Judges ready? All right. sleep with gum in my mouth, and now there's gum in my hair. And when I got out of bed this morning, I tripped on the skateboard. And by mistake, I dropped my sweater in the sink while the water was running. And I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. If Alexander had lived through a pandemic, this story would probably be called Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Year. Just like how Alexander wants to run away from his problems and move to Australia, I know that New Zealand has sounded pretty good to a lot of us. Still, admitting that we're struggling can be difficult for many people. And Alexander's story reminds us all that it's okay to have a bad day. Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day by Judith Viorst. At breakfast, Anthony found a Corvette Stingray car kit in his breakfast cereal box. And Nick found a junior undercover agent code ring in his breakfast cereal box. But in my breakfast cereal box, all I found was breakfast cereal. I think I'll move to Australia. In the carpool, Miss Gibson let Becky have a seat by the window. Audrey and Elliot got seats by the window too. I said, ugh! I was being scrunched. I said, I was being smushed. I said, if I don't get a seat by the window, I'm going to be car sick. No one even answered. I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. At school, Miss Dickens liked Paul's picture of the sailboat better than my picture of the invisible castle. At singing time, she said I sang too loud. At counting time, she said I left out 16. Who needs 16? I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. I could tell because Paul said I wasn't his best friend anymore. He said that Philip Parker was his best friend, and that Albert Moya was his next best friend, and that I was only his third best friend. I hope you sit on a tack, I said to Paul. I hope the next time you get a double-decker strawberry ice cream cone, the ice cream part falls off the cone part and lands in Australia. There were 2 cupcakes in Philip Parker's lunch bag, and Albert got a Hershey bar with almonds, and Paul's mother gave him a piece of jelly roll that had little coconut sprinkles on the top. Ow! Guess whose mother forgot to put in dessert? It was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. That's what it was, because after school, my mom took us all to the dentist, and Dr. Fields found a cavity just in me. Come back next week and I'll fix it, said Dr. Fields. Next week, I said, I'm going to Australia. On the way downstairs, the elevator door closed on my foot. And while we were waiting for my mom to go get the car, Anthony made me fall where it was muddy. And then when I started crying because of the mud, Nick said I was a crybaby. And while I was punching Nick for saying crybaby, my mom came back with the car and scolded me for being muddy and fighting. I am having a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. I told everybody. No one even answered. So then we went to the shoe store to buy some sneakers. Anthony chose white ones with blue stripes. Nick chose red ones with white stripes. I chose blue ones with red stripes. But the man said, we're all sold out. They made me buy plain old white ones. But they can't make me wear them. When we picked up my dad at his office, he said I couldn't play with his copying machine. But, I forgot. He also said to watch out for his books on his desk, and I was careful as could be, except for my elbow. He also said don't play around with his phone, but I think I called Australia. My dad said please don't pick him up anymore. It was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. There were lima beans for dinner and ugh, I hate limas. There was kissing on TV and ugh, I hate kissing. My bath was too hot. I got soap in my eyes. My marble went down the drain. And I had to wear my railroad train pajamas. I hate my railroad train pajamas. When I went to bed, Nick took back the pillow he said I could keep. And the Mickey Mouse nightlight burned out. And oh, I bit my tongue. The cat wants to sleep with Anthony, not with me. It has been a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. My mom says some days are like that, even in Australia? Oh. Thank you.
I got 6:25 is the time.
All right, thank you.
All right. So that's everybody. Good job, everyone. And I think you're all good to go. And then, yeah.
Thank you for judging. Good luck, everyone.
Thank you so much for judging. Have a good day.
Thank you. Have a great day.
I think the judges can leave the Zoom call. Yeah.